Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie and this is the week 28, July the 5th through the 11th weekly wrap-up. Alrighty, as I said, this is week 28. We are halfway through the year. We're on that downslide. The rest of the year is going to fly by super fast, I am sure. I had an amazing reading week, which I can't wait to get to talk to you guys. But we have a lifestyle portion that you guys are loving. And I was thinking this morning, as I'm doing my prep to, come down here and record this, and I'm like, what should I talk about in my lifestyle portion? I had a great week. I hit my 5-year mark. I did a live show all by myself. If you guys haven't watched it, it is available for you to play back. I can't believe that I talked for 2 hours with you guys. I think I created monsters when I said, hey, ask me questions about pretty much anything, and you guys totally came through. Gosh, 5 years, guys. 5 years. It's super crazy. Super crazy. Started off the week sort of in a bad place, but then I called out YouTube for doing a cleaning and like tanking my stats for my subscribers, and it has bounced back and it has like recovered, and you guys are amazing. All of a sudden I'm being found by people and I am totally grateful for that. Like people that are truly here to talk about romance, and I greatly appreciate all the new comments, all the new subscribers, everyone that's watching the backlist and things like that. And come to find out, my range and my demographic is much larger than I thought it was. I thought I was only talking to like the 25 to like 45-year-olds, but no, come to find out, YouTube and their analytics are a little bit off on their analytics, because according to YouTube, I don't have any like 16-year-olds watching my channel. But during my live show, I found out my range is from the age of 16. 16-year-olds are actually watching my channel for romance recommendations, which sometimes I'm like, I don't know that the books are appropriate for people that are under 18. But that's the mom in me that's coming out, that is like, oh, I need to protect my baby from being exposed to some of the stuff that I read, because some of the stuff that I read is very, very steamy, very, very need for a mature audience. And yeah, it kind of stopped my little heart to find out that I have 16-year-olds watching my channel and listening and taking book recommendations from me. But it's okay. Y'all gonna do what you want to do. My baby. I'm gonna keep sheltered. Sorry. That's just gonna be me. But, yeah, so that got my nails done, new color. I think I've had both of these colors before, just in a different combination. I went back through my Instagram and sort of put all of those together in their own little story called Nail Color. So if you're interested in the different colors that I actually put out on Instagram, which I'm going to start doing more often. Every single time I get my nails done, I'm going to put it on Instagram, put it on a story so that I can add it to that file and things like that. One, to remind myself what it was, and two, to, kind of have a track of that. If you guys don't know, I have an Instagram series going, doing virtual book tours on Wednesday, in between or either 11 a.m. or noon for 12 p.m. This week's, the one coming up next Wednesday, is going to be a long one, so it's probably going to be a 2-part one, because it is going to be of one of my bigger shelves. So be ready for that. Have your little notepad ready. It's a series where I go through every single book that I have on my shelves and show you guys what I have on my shelves, because it was such a huge request for me to do that. So I have obliged you and taken that recommendation and doing it over there on IG. If you are not following me on my other social media platforms, all that is down in the description box. My Ko-fi link and my PayPal link are down there as well. Make sure that you're subscribing to the channel so that you're up to date with all of my content. I release videos 2 days a week during the week, and of course on Sunday for my weekly wrap up. So let's get into the books that I read last week. I read 10 books last week. I am finishing off some series that I have been like sort of putting off, or I read one book from them, or I had wanted to read. So I started the week reading, I'm out of breath now, Beautifully Broken, If I Break, number 3 by Portia. I place this in contemporary. I give it 3.5 stars. I give it 2 Steam fans. I listen to this as an audiobook through Hoopla because the books are expensive on Amazon and they are not available in the Audible Escape program, and the audiobooks are expensive as well. This is a Black author. There are content warnings for mental health and possible adultery, I think is what my note says. This is the 3rd book in this series. It follows a woman named Lauren and a guy named C. That's all I'm going to tell you about that. I am doing or putting together a whole entire vlog for this series, so I'm not going to get too much into it. But the series deals with Lauren. She is a woman that is married to a guy that has secrets. More secrets are revealed in this 3rd book, and it was a series. This book definitely drags you in and gives you more perspective of what's going on in their life. I then finished Shattered Pieces, which is If I Break, book number 4 by Portia. It's still in contemporary. I give this one 2.5 stars. I give it 2 Steam fans. Listen to this as an audiobook as well through Hoopla. My library definitely came through when it came to finding this series on audiobooks, so that I didn't have to spend the money on them. This is still a Black author. This definitely deals with, or has content warning for mental health, abuse, and more secrets. This book, though, still follows Lauren and C. However, I think the only relevant part to this book was the last 20% of this book. 80% of this book did not need to be written, did not need to have it in a full out book. It was long, it was drawn out, and it just did not work for me. Like I said, this is part of the vlog, and I go into deeper thoughts of that, which will be released this week. The next book that I finished was Homecoming King by Jamie Albright. I place this in contemporary. I give it 4.25 stars. I gave it 2.5 Steam fans, which equates to 3 Steam fans. I read this as an ARC, however, it is available now, I believe. This is a sports romance, and I really, really enjoyed this story. You have Cash. Yes, that is his name. His name is Cash King. He was the homecoming king. He was sort of brought up on the wrong side of the tracks in this small Texas town. And you have Tiger. Yes, that is her name, Tiger Lyons. Crazy, right? Tiger Lyons, and she is sort of the princess of the town type thing. Her family is really, really well to do, and both of them, while they're in high school together, become homecoming king and homecoming queen. He's the star quarterback. She is just the, well-to-do person in the town, and the two of them have this attraction to each other because they did a project with each other while they're in high school. However, something ends up happening during homecoming dance, and then feelings are hurt. Cash thinks he's from the wrong side of town and always feeling like he needs to prove himself. He ends up going into the NFL, and then he ends up coming back to town about 12 years later. Tiger's still in town, but she's doing something different. There is content warnings for abuse, self-doubt, and class separation within this story. I really loved it. I was completely engaged by it, even from the beginning, where it was the, high school sort of homecoming king, homecoming queen. I sort of felt like I knew where it was going, and that was okay. And I was just very much into the story. There is some sexual tension in here that is just off the chart. Mwah. Mwah. Yes. Oh my goodness. And I just really loved how the story sort of unfolded with Cash and Tiger. The next book that I finished was Dirty Desires. This is The Lion and the Mouse, book number 3.5. Technically, you're supposed to read this in between book 3 and book 4 in this series. This is a series by Wright. I have been raving about her all week for like the last 2 months. This is a dark romance. This I give 4.25 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I read it as an ebook, and this is, like I was saying, in between book 3 and book 4. However, it's okay if you read 1 through 4 before you read this book, because this book is actually Ava and Misha's story, and you find out who Ava and Misha are throughout those other books, and I actually didn't feel like I lost anything. I felt like this was an addition to Kaz and Emily's story, and I was just here for it. Ava becomes the first black prima ballerina in Russia, and Misha is the soon-to-be possibly second in command of the Bratva, and I loved his obsession with her, and I loved her strength. Some things end up happening. Her poor grandmother ends up getting sort of kidnapped on accident, and this is the things that Misha and Ava were doing while Kaz and Em are in Paris. So I really, really enjoyed this story. I was wishing that the pace was a little bit quicker, and some other things had ended up happening, but at the same time, I really, really enjoyed this story. The next book that I finished was Down with Love, which is Laws of Attraction #1 by Kate Meader. I place this in contemporary. I give it 4 stars. I give it 3 Steam fans. I listened to this as an audiobook, and this book is part of my series sort of Clean Up and Clean Out. This book follows Max, who is a divorce attorney, and Charlie, who is a wedding planner. Max has been jaded, and he doesn't feel, he's not about the marriage life. He's a divorce attorney, and he sort of gets a bad rap about being a divorce attorney, but his brother ends up wanting to get married, or is getting married, and Charlie is the wedding planner, and the two of them end up having to work together quite a bit, and both of them have sort of been jaded by love, but Charlie has this glorious outlook on it, and Max has this, like, you know, I don't know that I want to touch that with a 10-foot pole type thing, and they both have sort of interesting family lives, and the two of them end up coming together, and I really, really enjoyed it. However, there was a lot of emphasis on physical appearance throughout the entire book, which I read book number 2 in this series already, and I think Kate Meader actually was told, probably because there was some controversy with book number 2. Book number 2 is a interracial romance, and I think she was probably clued in that from book number 1 to book number 2 and the debacle that was the horrible cover for book number 2, that she needed to, you know, get on that whole sensitivity read and make sure that it's not overly crazy, and you know, to cut down on some of the descriptions that were possibly stereotypical. And yeah, I enjoyed it, but you can definitely see, and I can look back and say there was some work done with this author and how things were portrayed. The next book that I finished was Then Came You, which is Laws of Attraction #3. As I said, I had already read book number 2, so I'm finishing up with this series by Kate Meader. I place this in contemporary. I give it 4.25 stars. I give it 2.5 Steam fans. I read it as an audiobook, and this book follows another couple from this series, and they were a married couple. Aubrey and Grant were married, and then they were divorced. They're both divorce attorneys as well. There is a content warning for miscarriage within this story. The storyline is very heavily placed about miscarriage, and I feel that I should give that warning just because there has been some discussion about miscarriages, and people are getting hurt by the topic. So if you are sensitive to miscarriage in any type of frame of matter, then I would either tread lightly when you read this book or don't read this book at all, because it does deal heavily with that. Other than that, I thought it was an interesting story, and I loved Grant and Aubrey together. You could feel that they had this love for each other, but even though they were divorced, they were still dealing with some things from their past. The next book that I finished was Lovely Baker by Alexa Riley. I placed this in contemporary novella. I gave this one 3 stars. I gave it 2 Steam fans. I listened to it on the podcast of Read Me Romance. Read Me Romance. And this book follows Jenna and Reed. She is a baker. He is the security guy that owns the bakery, and I kind of wanted more from this story. I am going to go back and read Lovely Neighbor. Maybe I will be clued in to some other sort of pieces of them. Jenna is sort of a single parent because she is adopted and is now taking care of her nephew, who is now like her son, and Reed is all about that. He's just obsessed with her and is like, I'm gonna take care of you. Some things end up happening and they end up together. The next book that I finished was Love Disregarded by Rachel Blaufeld. I placed this in contemporary. I give it 3.5 stars. I give it 2 Steam fans. I read this as an arc. This is a second chance love story. You have Bexley and you have Ashton, who Bexley is sort of from the wrong side of town, and Ashton is that Richie Rich kind of guy, and the two of them have one glorious summer together, but then one of them ends up choosing their lifestyle over the other, and when they come back together, some secrets are revealed, and they feel they have a desire to still be together, and they sort of hash that out. I didn't feel completely connected to the story. There were some things that ended up happening that I kind of felt disconnected from, and I really wanted to love the story, but one of the characters really I just wanted to like reach in and slap them and, you know, strangle them, and they didn't really redeem themselves until the end, so it kind of put a damper on my love for the story. The next book that I finished last week was Rock Hard, which is a Diamond Girls #1 by KA Linde. This is an erotic contemporary. Yes, I said erotic contemporary because it has contemporary themes, but it is very, very spicy. Haven't even gotten there yet, but it's 4 stars. 4 Steam fans, probably could be a 5 Steam fanner because it comes right off the bat. It's like, boom, here you go. This book was previously named Diamonds, and the series was All That Glitters, I think it was, but now it has been recovered, renamed, series named, everything. So it is under Rock Hard, and we have Brienne, who is a Hollywood daughter. She has a director dad, an actress mom. Both of them are sort of neglectful, and she decides to go out to the club one night, and she ends up meeting this guy named Jude. They end up going back to his place, and they're getting it on. Well, she's hiding the secret that she is quite young. Not like too young. She's 17. She's in her senior year, but Jude is like out of town all the time, and you know, he only calls her up when he's in town, and she's fine with that. She's doing her senior high school year, trying to prepare herself to go on to college and everything like that. This is an age gap romance, and normally I am not about having my characters that are under the age of 18. However, this one you could understand that she's 17, she's getting ready to go to college, she's in her senior year, and the guy is possibly married. He claims that they're getting separated, or he's divorcing his wife, things like that. And it's Hollywood. It's Hollywood. This is part 1 of the duet, and you know, she's a Hollywood kid. It is what it is. This does probably seem to happen. We see it all the time with our celebrities. So it was much more believable than, say, a dark romance that deals with high school kids. That's why I wouldn't necessarily put this in dark romance, because it wasn't dark at all. She liked her sex hot, but that's about it. And there's an age gap. The next book that I finished was A Girl's Best Friend, Diamond Girls #2 by KA Linde. I placed this one in erotic contemporary as well. Gave it 4 stars. Gave it 3.5 stars. Ugh. 3.5 Steam fans. Listen to it as an audiobook. This was previously named Gold, and I actually think Gold is a more fitting name for this book specifically, because once again we're following Brienne after the fallout of book #1, and she's off in college now. She's trying to do her queen bee sort of situation in this college setting, and she's trying to get out from the stigma and cloud that she had when she moved from LA, from the Hollywood scene, to this new college in which nobody really knows her, but she's like, oh, I'm gonna go try and do the gold digging thing. But come to find out, there are people in her life that don't necessarily want her to be a gold digger. She meets this older guy named Hugh, so there is still some age gap that is going on there. And then she has this guy named Eric, who is a student coach. He got injured. He was on the football team, got injured, and come to find out, he's gay. And they end up becoming friends and things like that. So there is like a sugar daddy type thing going on here, some gold digging going on here, and which is why I think the name Gold is more fitting to this than A Girl's Best Friend, because that sort of clues to diamonds. But there is lots of revelation that goes on in this story, and I was here for it. I was completely dragged into it and really enjoyed the outcome, but I did get a little bit annoyed with our main character. And this series, I like KA Linde for her angst, and this series definitely gives you that angst and frustration, and you want to reach in and choke some of these characters. That is what I'm here for. That is what I like about her writing, and she definitely delivers in this story. So yeah. What am I currently reading? I am going to be finishing this series, Diamond Girls, by finishing In the Rough, which was previously named Emeralds, Shine Bright, which was named Platinum, and that's a duet. And then the last book in the series is called Under Pressure, and that one was previously named Silver. And I will be finishing that for the series, all by KA Linde, and I am just really looking forward to it, because these books follow two of the characters we already met in the first two books. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. So that is what I read last week. 10 freaking books. Crazy good reading week. Crazy good milestones. 5 years, like I said, is absolutely crazy. I am so glad that so many of you are enjoying the romance content here for my channel and on my channel. I'm glad that I'm introducing new authors to you, authors that you've never heard of, some that are not mainstream, and I just really, really love getting that comment, just to let you know. Just to let you know. Let me know down in the comment section if you have read any of these books, what your thoughts on them were. Let's discuss them. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends. There is a recommendation. No recommendation. Getting rid of the recommendation form, by the way, because y'all like to recommend books that I am never going to read down there. So, yeah. That's going to be a different video. That's going to be a different video how I explain all that to you guys. So there's a feedback form down there so that you guys can help me improve my channel. My Ko-fi's down there, my PayPal's down there, and affiliate links are down there as well. So if you're an Amazon buyer, you can use those affiliate links. You don't necessarily have to buy that product that's down there. You can just click on that link and then go to whatever you're going to buy, and then the funds sometimes come back to me. Sometimes. Depends. But you can always try it that way. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video.